Welcome back to the Packers Corner. Good to be with you, gentlemen. I got to just keep the record button on before we take it live here because we were enjoying a couple good rants. I'm sure we'll recreate some of the magic here. Sure was a magical night for the Packers, or afternoon. Fun watching them beat the Bears. You had to hold on there. Schmitty, were you a little nervous?
Of course, I was trying with the last possession, a couple minutes left. I'm just all right, yep, they're going to go for two, and whatever comes of this comes of it. And I got to accept it. I got to be fine with. We played a good game. We just couldn't. If this has to be the way it is, so be it. The rivalry's back on.
Well, it's fun to have a little bit more of a rivalry. Certainly, the Bears coaches' comments in the off season paired with their better record this year made this an interesting one. We might see those guys a couple more times. We'll break down this iteration of the rivalry and look towards next week. Another big matchup against the Denver Broncos after the break here.
The autumn wind is a packer, blustering in from the bay. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, banging the drum all day. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a cheese-filled cache with a green and gold cape on his back and a frozen stiff mustache. He rumbles across the tundra, a hero brave and bold. And the fans all cheer and raise their beer as he fights through rain and cold. The autumn wind is a packer, tackling just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and bask in the Titletown sun.
Dad, what stood out to you most here? The referees, Keyshawn Nixon's up and down evening, what came through when we needed him, Christian Watson running wild. Where do you want to start here?
Well, we should have had the cameras running before we went on air because we went into quite a rant on the referees. But I'm not going to start there because it's an important point.
Build up to it.
But yeah, we can get into that. Packers played a wonderful game. They had 8 possessions. They scored on half their possessions, all touchdowns. The problem was, and here we're nitpicking because we just had a huge victory. I loved what Coach LaFleur had going out there with the play calling to put the ball in number 10's hands and let him go to work. And my gosh, some of those. Now, I know he had this one bad one here. It was a bad interception, but it's what he did after that. He came back and played.
That was like Caleb Blaha's first drive for the Falcons. Both those guys.
What happened watching River Falls and against the Johnnies, and they give the Johnnies a touchdown and then go ahead and beat them 42-14. But anyway, some of those touch passes, can you believe it, Schmidt? He lobs them up to the sideline and lets the guys like that one with the blitz on off his back foot. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. Schmidt, you got to be seeing Aaron Rodgers out there. The way he throws off that back foot so that he doesn't have any, buddy coming at his knees and just buying a little extra time. Look at that. And he did it to Reed on a third down play, and he did it in the end zone to Bo Melton. So incredible stuff. The way he orchestrated that blitz package when he had Watson run the slant in the second half. And Watson runs to green grass and goes all the way in for 41 yards. And the Bears think they're being all cute by bringing an all-out blitz. And Jordan just makes a little hand signal. So it's Rodgers all over again, Schmidt. He's got the hand signals and everything.
Don't blitz this man, right? I mean, he absolutely decimated the blitz.
Please continue to blitz. Just blitz him all you want. He's unbelievable. So my only nitpicking, gentlemen, the next level for this team is when you come out in the second half and you're leading 14-3, you do not go 3 and out. It's their drives out of 8 drives, 4 scores good, but 2 3 and outs in the second half that really kept the Bears around, allowed them to get into what they want to do, right? Lean on our defensive line, make us play against the run, tire them out so they can't blitz. They can't rush the passer and never call a holding call against Parsons. But anyway, now I'm getting into the refs. So what a great game. Sets up the whole last of the season. What is it Schmitty says? I don't know if I'm romantic about football, but I sure am infatuated with it right now. What a beautiful game it is.
Schmitty, Caleb Williams, we just saw here, fit the ball into some tight windows. He was also pretty erratic at times. It was kind of what we've come to expect from Caleb, honestly. He's going to make a couple highlight real plays. And then when the game mattered most and they needed one more out of him, he didn't have it in him. What did you take away from his performance?
I thought he had a really good performance. It's just the fact that he had to roll out to his left and make an incredibly difficult throw. Some of those balls where he gets to roll out to his right, he is incredibly dynamic because he's so quick. He can get around the edge, the set edge, even on the right side against any edge rusher in the league. And you see the arm talent, how quickly he can get that ball. He found so many guys. A Cole Kmet pass. I think there was probably 2 or 3 that you're just like, this guy has arm talent. That Zacchaeus touchdown. So the Bears, Ben Johnson, they're finding the right recipe to make Williams electric, and I would expect this to continue. That they'll find that they'll set up their offense to emphasize him rolling out to his right. The Bears did a really good job against our defense in that second half. They moved the pocket a lot, getting him to roll out. When we tried to rush with Micah, I mean, granted, all those holding calls that should have been, they had a good plan of attack. I agree. 14-3, we're going to half. It should have 10-3 at best. What a ball from Jordan to Bo. But the Bears, this isn't the Bears of old. Well, I genuinely, seeing where Caleb went from last year to this, that there is a clear improvement in his gameplay, and it's going to elevate this team so much so that you're going to have these classic Bears-Packers matchups that really, in the last 15 years, there haven't been that many that have mattered. And now I think we're going to be in it every year while Jordan and Caleb are still in the league. And you should be excited about that because I think that they'll make each other better. And you might see in the next 10 years us playing 3 times more than a couple. I firmly believe that because I think that these teams are at the top of their class, at least this year, and many more to come.
Now, Caleb's thrown for under 60% completion percentage in 10 of his last 11, Schmitty. So is that sustainable? I don't know if this is the recipe for them. It was in times they're winning in spite of him, I think, still at this point.
Oh, and maybe that might be the case in some of these games, but I think if you compare what last year looked like to now, that he's made an improvement. In having Ben Johnson now, like for them to dial in how to emphasize Caleb's talents, I only think that improves. Don't make the kid roll out left. I mean, that's just a tough play. I mean,
that's the one he threw the beautiful ball to Kmet against the Eagles, just a few short weeks ago. Here was, Black Friday, and they went back to the well on it.
My problem, or what I thought was impressive by the Bears, especially in the second half, because our defense played extremely well in that first half. On first down, it seemed like every first down was a 6, 7, 8-yard gain, and they were just gashing us, and we didn't have anything to say about it. They went on extended drives, and that's what we pride ourselves on, and that's what Jordan does so well, is that we can put some of these long drives together. And so for the Bears to do that against us, that's why, unfortunately, we've given the Bears the fandom like this hope and belief that they can compete with the Green Bay Packers now, because there was more than 1 or 2 possessions where the Bears were able to drive on us consistently, like other teams necessarily haven't been able to this year.
Dad, you have a thought there?
Well, except that they used the same blueprint that Cleveland did, that Carolina did, which is in the second half to go to the running game and wear us down and go on long sustained drives and keep our offense off the field. And Schmitty, that's the whole point. 14-3. and you go 3 and out, and they're over there on the Bears sideline going, oh, they're playing right into our hands. We got them right where we want them. We're going to gash them and go on a long sustained drive and score and go for 2 points, and it's 14-11. And at that point, Schmitty, I'm sure you're looking at the TV like I'm in going, this is going right down to the wire now, because you idiots went 3 and out in your first drive, which is almost unforgivable. You've got to move the ball. There's such good job on the 4 out of the 8 drives, but it's the other ones. You've got to move the ball and get a field goal. If you make it 17-3, the game's over. You will stay in control of that game the rest of the way, score the points you need to score. So there's the only point to be made. And I must say, Schmitty, that throw to Zacchaeus, that's total and utter luck. I want to throw up on myself after watching that go right through Nixon's hands. Come on. Now, that's the luckiest thing I've ever seen in my life. So good for Caleb, but good.
And that's what I say,
Lord.
is some of this sustainable given his completion percentage. I don't think throws like that are. He's going to have some highlights, and he's got such a quick
That
release.
is
He's got such a
1 in
escapability.
100 shot. You can go to Vegas and lose your shirt trying to make that play. So good for the Bears. They stayed in the game.
And just to
but
check in compared to where they were last year here, Schmitty. So Bears averaging 15, or Caleb Williams in particular, averaging 15 more pass yards per game this year compared to last year. They're running the ball for 50 more yards a game. And I think that's the Ben Johnson effect more so than anything. So in given the fact that the run game's so much more efficient, the kid's still completing less than 60% of his passes in 10 of the last 11 games. So I mean, we saw what did Jared Goff do with Ben Johnson? I mean, that guy, he looked like a different guy. If you want to talk about looking like a different guy, that would be my only contention.
Well, Ben Johnson's quote is, "We are winning in spite of the passing game."
Well, he's right. Then me and him are on the same page.
I mean, he said, and I must say, Schmitty will like this. I heard Caleb interviewed. I'm impressed with the kid. He seems like a upstanding guy. I like the way he comported himself, Griff. I'm sorry to tell you that. And I think he's got a future there, and I think he will continue to improve. But let's get into it now. I can't take it anymore. The interception on the second Bears drive, that somehow they twist themselves in a pretzel. And it was a rule to fumble, right? Reception, fumble on the field. Clearly the Packers recovered. Evan Williams has it. He holds it up for the ref. And then they go to New York, and somehow the guy comes up with the ruling that it's an incomplete pass based on what? Can you explain to me? And only to be furthered by the Musgrave play, a drive later when the Packers have the ball that is clearly a catch down on about the 30
I think they
yard
got the
line.
Musgrave one right. Yeah, Schmitty, you're on.
Based on what? You have to have incontrovertible, irrefutable visual evidence that ball was not a catch. It's
that last angle they showed. I thought it was clear.
The
but
ball is sliding across the grass, and it moves. I mean,
I wanted it to be a catch. But I don't understand. Was there an angle we didn't see or something? Because I never saw that Evan Williams one. That ball never hit the ground. I don't know how that wasn't an interception. If it, they deemed it wasn't a fumble, but I don't understand that one at all.
You got the Nixon penalties. You've got the multiple Micah Parsons non-hold calls, and then you have the holding call on our center on the punt. And I look at that and I go, they've dragged Micah down 6 times worse than this play. So I'm to the point where what are these? I want to get these guys' phone records. I want to see what they're betting on. And I told you, we can fix this, Schmitty. We can fix it right now. You make me commissioner, and you and Griff and I and 3 drunk guys at Applebee's will make these rulings, and we'll clean up this game and stop having this notion that the referees are somehow parlaying these into bets that they're making on the spot. I don't know what the heck's going on out there. It's driving me crazy. This refereeing is just brutal. But sometimes when you're a good team, you got to beat the refs too. And that's what we're going to have to do. But I don't know what we're going to do about the way they're treating Mike out there. It's pitiful.
Yeah, that's certainly a frustrating one. The other thing I was just looking at here that's interesting, Schmitty, is that the Bears went from 32nd to 25th to 5th in terms of yards offensively per game, but they've actually regressed in terms of their rank in points per game. So for whatever that's worth, kind of interesting factoid. I think we're obviously going to see those guys at least one more time here. You think that's going to be a team that we see in the first round of the playoffs too?
That's the way it's shaping up. I mean, it's crazy how the top of the NFC for the Bears to go from the 1 seed to the 7th seed, and now like 11 wins is not a guarantee that gets the Bears in. And the Bears play they play the Packers, the Niners, and the Lions. You're telling me that they got to win 3 out of those 4, and if they don't, especially if they lose to the Browns, it's almost a death sentence. Like, if they lose to the Browns, that means like they have to beat the Lions, because if the Lions beat them, the Bears are essentially out. Even for us, going 11-5-1, like that needs to happen. Otherwise, we're in trouble. 10 wins isn't getting us in, so it needs to be 11, and we probably need maybe one thing to go our way to get in. We're minus 3,000 to get into the playoffs at this point. I think we're like the second highest as far as guaranteed to get in. But we still got to show up these next 4 weeks, as do damn near every NFC team. The NFC West picture, all those teams except for the Niners. The Niners have to play. They don't have to play the Rams or the Seahawks. But that division probably is more worthwhile of a watch if you're just an NFL fan in general, just with how that can play out. So we're
in the home stretch, huh? We're in the home stretch. It's getting exciting, right?
And you get to play the Bears again, and it's going to be more meaningful than it was on Sunday. It just, how can you not be romantic about football? I do want to point out one thing. While we can't control the refs, we can control how much we inject Jayden Reed into our offense, and we should be doing it 10 plus times. He should get 10 looks a game. For what he added to our offense was incredible. The yards after the catch, him being they know it's coming. When Jayden Reed is doing that jet sweep motion, and they're still giving him the ball, and we're still gaining first downs, the fact that exists in our offense is going to be critical to our success. And so I'm so glad to have 11 back.
Well, do you think we should have any more condensing of the offense? In I'd like to see maybe more touches for Christian Watson too. It's pretty scary what happens every time he gets the ball. I'd love to see that closer to 10 times a game for him too.
Yeah, Griffey, when the ball, and it reminds me of Aaron Rodgers, when the ball goes out of the broadcast screen and and Jordan's on his back foot, it's like a 90% hit rate. It's almost like when Rodgers would get guys to jump off sides, and just a ball's gonna just drop from the skies in Jordy Nelson's hand. Like it's starting to get to that level with Jordan on his back foot and throwing those lob balls. I throw it to Christian Watson a bunch. Unfortunately, with the Christian Watson piece, good on Goody to give him some money for next year. He's not going to come and play for that contract. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? We
might have to rework it all over again, which, that's a good problem to have given how awesome he's been out there. Dad, you know how I like the playoff gonculator, as you like to call it, the odds for different playoff placements and so forth. We're sitting at a 10% chance for the 1 seed. Can we entertain that thought? Are we allowed to think that way at this point in time?
Absolutely not. You don't even look at that stupid thing. You put one foot in front of the other. You line up for practice again today, and you go out there and you get ready for Denver, and you go out and play it one play at a time. And you don't even look at the dumb gonculator. And if I tell you what, if you do what you need to do, that'll take care of itself. And I'm still a little bit peeved that you didn't see that Musgrave play, right? We're going to break that down on the next pod because that was a catch.
We'll have to send you the tape here. We'll work on that. See if Schmitty's got an angle.
I've seen the tape. Let's break it down point by point. You tell me where that ball moves significantly, and then I'll admit to it. But that was a horrible deal, just like the rest of them. I'm still upset about it.
Well, hey, I'm glad you're fired up. That means our hearts are in it at this point in the season. And I think it's because it kind of feels like we got something special brewing. And I mean, it felt like something special right out of the gates. And we lost our footing a little bit in the mid portion of the season there. And now after a number of wins in a row, it's starting to feel a little bit more magical to me. And I think this Bears win was a big part of that. But let's see how we finish down the stretch here. We got another tough one, as it goes this time of year. But the Denver Broncos, winning that would certainly bode in our favor when you start to look at power rankings, when you start to look at MVP considerations for Jordan Love if he goes out and does it against Bo Nix. But what do you look for, and what are going to be some of the keys to that matchup here in a couple days, Schmitty?
Well, the Denver's, and I don't get to watch them, and they're the best team in the AFC. They have the best record.
You think over the Patriots?
Aren't they the 1 seed? Denver's the 1 seed right now over the Patriots.
I just mean right? In terms of who you think's better.
Oh,
but.
Sure. No, I think I like the Patriots over the Broncos, especially the Broncos. The issue with them is that they play with their food a little too much. They just skidded out a game against the Raiders by a touchdown, although I know they look pretty dominant against them. But they've had games like us where, the Browns, Panthers, stuff like that. They've had similar type games where their fan base is questioning if this is an all three phases team. The one phase that they don't get wrong is their defense. That defense, I think they're on pace to set the record for sacks this year. So what a test for our offense that's kept Jordan upright for, especially with Elton going down and Sean being inserted. That's going to be something to key in on. Bo Nix, he doesn't do it for me, Griffey. I'm just I know he can be exciting at times. He's not, and again, I don't watch too much Broncos football, but whenever I watch Bo Nix, I'm like, I'd much rather have the kid in New England if I'm an AFC guy. I'd much rather have about
He's got scary identical numbers to Caleb Williams for what that's worth.
Okay, well, I'm not commenting on that, but thank you for putting that out in Packers Corner. Aside from the defense, Pat Surtain, probably one of the best, if not the lockdown corner. Good thing for us that we have like 5 different guys that catch passes. I cannot believe we are 1.5 point favorites. I couldn't believe that we were 6.5 points favorites against the Bears. So I guess
because we're really good, Schmitty.
Hey, I know we are really good. Think about last year where we were about this time, and I got Gar. He's just clamoring for all 3 phases, and I'm like, we're the last month of the year, we're sputtering. I'm like, we're gonna go play the Eagles. Like we're not getting any better. We're gonna go play who ended up being the eventual Super Bowl champs. What's different this year is like you beat the Bears, you beat the Broncos. Like you're in a much different headspace than we were this time last year. So again, keep Jordan upright, feed the ball to Jaden, find Christian a few times. The defense, if we can get that first half performance for the entire game, like how do you not think that this team wins by a touchdown again? So I'm keen on that. I think the Packers win. I don't know if we're doing the prediction. We gotta hit the button, put the G up. I'm not stopping now. We're on a
you're rolling. Don't stop.
We're rolling. And so I think we win 25-22. I'm not picking against the Packers anymore for the rest of the season. If we win this game, the momentum we're going to carry going to Soldier Field on Saturday night primetime, just inject all this into my veins. I'm so excited for this whole run. We're plus 800 now to win the Super Bowl. That's the 3rd highest odds across the league. So Vegas thinks that whatever NFC team comes out on the other side of this, they're going to take care of business in the Super Bowl. And I kind of believe that just with how tough these tests are. So if you go ahead and you beat the Broncos, bring on any team in the AFC.
Well, ironic, Dad, that Schmitty says he's not picking against us the rest of the way if we get it done against the Broncos. I believe it was the last time we played the Broncos, Jordan Love's first year, we lost a tough one, and Schmitty said, you can't pick the Packers to win another game the rest of the way. So we've come full circle that way. That was a totally different time. Fortunately, we bounced back, and to your point, that was a year where we got hot at the end of the year, and it felt totally different than it did just a year ago here, and it seems like maybe we're on a little more of that trajectory, at least at the time being. Dad, did you have your eyes, the one spot that I've had circled on a piece of paper, but I don't do as good of a job watching this on Sundays, is the interior and the gaping hole that was left by the absence of Devontae Wyatt. We had a couple guys in there trying to plug it up. How'd you feel about their performance?
Well, you have Brinson in there. And the guy they just picked up from the Giants got a handful of plays. And Bears ran for 281 yards 10 days ago whenever they played on Black Friday. And what did they run for? 130 something? They have a dominating, punishing game. They wear you out, but that's pretty good control of the running game.
Yeah, 138, 4.3 a carry. We actually were better on a per carry basis than they were.
And they lead the league in explosive runs and runs over 10 yards. And you know how many runs over 10 yards they had in the game?
0. That's a good point.
Not 3. 0. So as to your discussion about New England, they have a middle-of-the-road DVOA of about 14 based on which, as you know, DVOA adjusts for schedule. They've not played a very impressive schedule.
You talking about New England or Denver here, Dad?
New England.
Oh, yeah.
You're
okay.
comparing New England and Denver.
So you're a Bronco believer.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that the New England thing is nice. It's cute. They do have a good-looking quarterback. I think he might be the best one. Sure looks different between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams this year, doesn't it, Griff?
Well, Drake May is the guy who I disrespected the most here by clearly at this point.
Who?
Drake May. I didn't say anything negative about him, but
you were all over JJ McCarthy too. You were also nervous. You couldn't hardly, have a solid bowel movement. You were so nervous about JJ McCarthy, the poor guy over there, and that was all in vain.
He had a little bounce back here this week.
Yeah, here we go. Right to the moon he goes now. So, but at any rate, it sure looks different. I'm wondering if Jaden Daniels is RG3 all over again, just too small to stay healthy and stay in the league. But we'll see. Give him another year. It looks totally different this year. Kind of amazing. But you said it. When I think of Bo Nix, I think of Caleb Williams. Just kind of a guy who does it at the end of games. You got to give Caleb credit. He is a magician, and Caleb's one superpower is he's just amazing at avoiding sacks. He's like a running back there, Schmitty. I mean, he's strong, he's quick, he's evasive, he's got a sixth sense about him. And so I do give him a lot of credit. I don't think Bo Nix has that. It might be a game of sacks. Does Micah do the sacking, and are we able to protect our guy since Denver has a tremendous defense? But I will say that, I think that mile high, that's always a thing. Are we able to, stay with them so that at the end of the game, we're not gassed and we can make the plays we need to make? You've talked, Schmitty very adroitly mentions Jaden Reed being injected back into the offense, and we've been a totally different operation with Christian Watson. Is it possible? Is it just possible that we get something out of number 32, Marshawn Lloyd, this year?
We haven't even seen that jersey.
That all of a sudden we have a scat back running out of there who can make plays like Jaden Reed. I don't know. I'm not predicting it. I'm just dreaming about it because it would add a whole nother dimension. And we're just, as I said, it's nitpicking, but we're just that far away. Our offense has to control ball games so we don't wear down the defense and so we can get ahead and pin back our ears and rush the passer and not have to protect so much against the running game. And gentlemen, we really have not done that in a single game this year, other than maybe the first game against the Lions. You got to put that team away early so that now Micah can hunt and Rashawn Gary can hunt. And we haven't even, can we get something? Is there another guy we can get something? This is a further reach. Are we ever going to get anything out of LVN? It would be nice because
there was a little there right out of the gates the first couple of weeks. You didn't see anything you liked there, Schmitty?
Griffey, Enigbare is head and shoulders past what LVN does on it. Even when LVN is at his top of his game and he's showing a couple flashes, You want Enikbar over him 10 out of 10 times. The sad part of that is LVN is on a rookie contract, and Enikbar is going to get some money in this offseason. We're not going to be able to fork it over.
I want JSN over him still, too, but it is fun having our number 11 back out there, Dad.
The only thing you could hope for is with Wyatt being gone, that maybe you can get LVN in the middle on the rushing downs and send him up
Hercules.
the middle.
Yeah, well, let's just make him 300 pounds. At this point, let's try everything. He can pack it on. It's from Iowa.
That's what you're hoping for. So I'm dreaming, but at any rate, it's going to be a heck of a ball game. But I think the Packers are rolling. I think what I'm impressed with is just the maturation of Jordan Love. Now, we've said it and we know it, and it's the 900-pound gorilla in the room, Schmitty. We won't know until it's the playoffs in the fourth quarter and we're driving to win the game and situational football. It sure seems like he's gotten better at those things, but the jury will somewhat be out until we find ourselves in that situation. But I mean, I think we've seen pretty good examples of it this year. He had to score on every drive against the Cowboys to tie the game. And if LaFleur would have let him try to score on the last drive, we might have won that game. We're not on Coach LaFleur anymore because he seems to have woken up and putting the ball in Jordan's hands. He pretty much had to score a touchdown on every drive against the Bears that they moved the ball on. We've chronicled the drives that were thwarted by goofy calls and ridiculous penalties and so forth. But hey, the team has been much more disciplined. Did you see that play down on the goal line where we could have got an offsides call when the Bears tried to simulate the count and run a move, little trick there, a little twist, and we held our water and got the penalty on them. So credit to Coach LaFleur. He's got the team playing discipline.
He's our guy, and we never doubted him.
Well, we drew the line in the sand, and he responded. So we don't want to take the credit, but way to go, Coach. Keep it up.
Well, and who's your pick? Officially, you got one?
The Packers. What I said, the Packers over the Bears, 27-19 on the last game. I'm sorry, I was off by 2 or 3 points. It's going to be Packers 24 and Denver 16 in this one.
I've got Packers by a million. You know I don't do well with the spreads, Schmitty, as we talked about when we were trying to evaluate that in our little alma mater matchup a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know how I feel about picking a number. I'm going by a million. I think the Packers get it done one way or another. I just want to see another check mark in the win column, and I want to start talking about that 1 seed next week. That's what I want to be able to do. So we won't get ahead of ourselves for another week. But like I said, I like to see another one in the win column for the good guys here. Schmitty, do you have any final words for our Packers Corner faithful?
I have sold all the appliances. I got a fire outside. I've sold everything, Griffey. I am so ready.
You're off the grid.
Run. We're off the grid, baby. I cannot be harmed in the sanctity of my own home. Okay, this is about as exciting. I've been more excited than our stretch of Chiefs, Lions, beating the Cowboys. Like we're on that sort of path right now. So if we take care of business Sunday, another 3 p.m. game, more eyeballs on us, of course, because now people are starting to recognize Packers Corner faithful. Lock in 4 weeks. Because Griffey, your dad wants to naysay a little bit. I think we can start talking about that 1 seed, and it starts on Sunday, baby. Here we go.
There we go. Can we start talking about an MVP season for our boy Jordan Love?
No, we can't do that. Sorry.
Dad, any cheese for us?
Well, you will recall that I predicted Micah Parsons would catapult Jordan Love to the top 3 in the MVP race, and we have reached that point, gentlemen. There's incontrovertible evidence that Jordan Love is nipping at the heels of the Mr. Drake May over there, who's got the weakest strength of schedule for a good team in the league. And you can't take anything away from Matthew Stafford. He's had a hell of a year over there. But our boy is right there with him, so we'll see what happens. Of course, I got a cheese. We're going to go with a stock cheddar cheese because it's kind of orange. And if it was our old buddy Aaron Rodgers, Schmitty, what would he do at the podium after the game? He'd have an orange crush with a little cheddar cheese on the side. And let's just hope we can see that at the end of the ball game. And we do need to have a little shout out to our River Falls Falcons, who beat the St. John's Johnnies for the first time since 2 years before Hitler invaded Poland in 1937. And they spotted them a touchdown and then kicked their rear end up and down the field the rest of the day to the tune of 42-14. And who do we play now? The Wheaton what, Griff?
Thunder. The Wheaton Thunder.
The Thunder. I didn't think it was the Wheaton Wheaties, but we'll eat our Wheaties and we'll teach the Thunder the way the ball game is played up here in Wisconsin in 4-degree weather on the weekend.
Fun fact, I was born in Wheaton, Illinois.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Let's go, baby. All right, let's go Falcons. We got to crush.
I was going to say, you're not going to be pulling for the Thunder on us here,
those
are you?
nurses, they mistreated me there. I remember that.
It was horrible.
Horrible experience in Wheaton, Illinois.
Well, we aren't going to talk about the spread on that game. I don't want to look at it being the largest spread compared to any other games in this late in the playoffs to this point, because I'll start to get too nervous. But certainly we're going to shout out to the boys down there at Raymer Field. It's going to be like the Ice Bowl out there. So
we were pretty fortunate this week. We were in the luxury box, weren't we? That's a whole other story, but we don't have to get into that. It sure was a joy to watch them from the heated confines of the press box up there and high above.
Getting wine and dined by the alumni, by the chancellor, perhaps.
Then the chancellor, I told the chancellor, wonderful gentleman that he is, I said I'm a strong believer that every institution should have a chancellor. And so I was very happy to see him there. And he agreed.
Champagne and prawns. Okay, fantastic.
Well, I love it, gentlemen. We'll give a little shout out to the boys if they advance another week here. Next week, we'll certainly break down the results of this impending Packers-Broncos game and look back again towards the Chicago Bears. Should be fun. Looking towards the home stretch with you, gentlemen. You guys have a good night.
Love you all.